The main question is, do you know how to play kick shots in pool? Maybe yes or maybe no. Okay, but did you hear about this shot?
Might miss this ball.
Yes, Efren Batres, the god of kick shots.
Yeah, I get lucky.
So, can we become Efren Reyes? The answer is no. But I can tell you step by step how to calculate kick shots and play like Efren Reyes. In the first part of this video, we will talk about one-rail kick shots, and in this part I will show you 3 really helpful systems to calculate this type of shots. In the second part, we will discover 2 systems to calculate 2-rail kick shots. And each of these systems you can use in different situations, and I will try my best to show all differences between every system, but also advantages and disadvantages to better understand this topic. So if you are hungry for this knowledge and can't wait to discover all these secrets, don't forget to leave a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel to be updated with videos like this. First one-rail kicking system is really simple to calculate, but you can use it only in one specific situation. The exception covers the situation where the cue ball and the object ball will be on a straight line that will be perpendicular to the rail on which we will hit the cue ball. And trust me, this information is absolutely crucial. In the first step, we need to find the midpoint between the cue ball and the object ball. It is really important to determine this point really precisely, and if we have this point, then all what we need is to draw a straight line perpendicular to the opposite long rail, which will indicate final point on the rail's edge where we need to hit the cue ball. Just math and physics. But these calculations will not work if we execute this shot in wrong way. The key to execute it precisely is to apply correct spin and speed to the cue ball. Okay, and you can ask me why. We need to hit the cue ball with low speed and apply a bit of topspin. And you need to remember that if straight line between both balls is positioned perpendicular to the rail where we will hit the cue ball, then you can use this specific system. Okay, and that was the first and easiest one-rail kicking system to calculate, and now let's talk about the second one. In this scenario, cue ball and the object ball will be placed in completely random places on the table, away from the rails, and I will show you how to calculate this contact regardless of the position of both balls. In this situation, in the first step, we need to draw a straight line from the center point of the object ball, which will be perpendicular to the rail where we will hit the cue ball. And this line will indicate point on the rail's edge, like in previous situation. The next 2 steps will be absolutely crucial to calculate the correct point of contact, so you need to be focused as much as possible. In the next step, you need to move this line from this point on the rail's edge to the midpoint between the cue ball and the object ball. And trust me, you need to do this really carefully. If you are sure about the position of this line, then you will face the most essential step in your calculations. You need to move this line parallel to the center point of the cue ball as carefully as possible to indicate our final point on the rail where we need to hit the cue ball. Yes, I know this may be difficult, but trust me, precision in this situation is absolutely essential. Okay, and let's assume that we have determined our point correctly. And in this moment, same like before, we need to hit the cue ball with low speed and apply a bit of topspin. These 2 factors plays a key role in success of this shot. Yes, I know you can ask me again why. So let's prove it. If we hit the cue ball on the same point on the rail, but we will use high speed and apply a bit of low spin, then you can see that the cue ball bounces from the rail with completely different angle and we are missing the object ball. Same situation will be if we apply a bit of side spin, because this spin changes cue ball's trajectory again. So you need to remember that spin and speed is really important during calculating kick shots in pool. But now I will show you how to calculate this type of kick shot to put the object ball regardless of its position on the table. This is really simple action, but you need to follow these steps really carefully. We need to use same system like in previous situation, but this time we need to start our calculations not from the center point of the object ball, but from its ghost ball. Yes, center point of the ghost ball. And this is the key moment, because we want to place the cue ball exactly at the ghost ball point to put the object ball. In following steps, we need to make same actions like before to indicate our final point on the rail's edge where we need to hit the cue ball. And same like before, we need to use same speed and spin on the cubo. And as I said before, we can use this system regardless of the position of both balls on the table. So in this case, if we will be able to determine precise point of contact with the rail, then we will put the object ball. Okay, so now you know two one-rail kicking systems, but I have one more which you need to know. Sometimes we have a situation that the object ball is a pocket hanger, and in this case we can use 2-to-1 kicking system. And this time we need to do some math. In this situation we'll use designated lines based on diamonds on the rails. In the first step we need to number each diamond on both long rails, because we want to hit on the long rail. And we are starting from point where is the object ball, and there is point 0. And in the next step we need to number each next diamond using full number. After these steps we need to draw straight lines from each diamond on the left long rail to the diamonds on the opposite long rail, which have values divided by 2. And at this moment we can see that the cue ball is placed exactly on the line from 4th to 2nd diamond. So in this case we can hit the cue ball exactly on the 2nd diamond to make a contact with the object ball. Really easy, right? But situation can be more difficult if the cue ball is away from these lines. In this scenario we can try to adjust our final line, but in my opinion in this situation you should use second system to determine final path correctly. Okay, so now you know 3 easiest and really helpful one-rail kicking systems, and we need to move to the second part of this video where I will explain how to calculate 2-rail kick shots. Okay, and let's add some drama to this episode. I know that this is a lot of information, but I feel that you want more. And in this case, I'm going to show you 2 most powerful and useful systems. The first method will be really familiar to calculate for beginners, and let's imagine that we have cue ball and the object ball like in this situation. First of all, we need to carefully indicate a midpoint between the cue ball and the object ball. After this step, we need to draw a straight line from this point to the corner pocket. Okay, at this moment it sounds really easy, but the crucial step. You need to move this line parallel and adjust it to the current position of the cue ball, and this is really important to do this really carefully, because this line will indicate our final point on the rail's edge where we shoot to hit the cue ball. But wait a second, that's not all. You need to hit the cue ball with correct spin and speed. If we look back to the previous part of the video, then we can remember that we used top spin and low speed. And trust me, this time it will not work. We need to hit the cue ball with same speed like before, but this time this shot requires from us to apply bit of outside spin. And this is absolutely crucial information. If we hit the cue ball without side spin, then we will not be able to make a contact with the object ball, because cue ball will go with different path that we want. And same situation will be if we apply too much speed or too much spin. So please remember, when playing 2-rail kick shots, then you need to apply just a bit of side spin. And of course this system you can use regardless of the position of both balls on the table, and all what we need is to determine the correct point of contact with the rail and applying correct speed and spin. And that was the first method to calculate 2-rail kick shots, and now it is going to get very scary when I will introduce you to the second, much more demanding system. Just will be more difficult. Let's go! In the first scenario we have object ball as pocket hanger, and the cue ball is placed really close to the left long rail in the area of 4th diamond. The first thing you need to do is to number your short rail where you will hit the cue ball, and you need to start from this corner pocket where will be number 1. Then we are going to come half diamond away, and there will be number 2. And consequently each next half of diamond refer to the next full number. In the next step, we need to number each diamond on the left long rail. We need to start from point where is the object ball at this moment, and there is point 0. And consequently, each next full diamond refers to the next full number. After this step, you need to connect numbers on the long rail with numbers on the short rail. And these lines will indicate the track lines which you will use next. Okay, and that was easy, yes? So take a seat, because now will be really interesting. We need to use our track lines to determine the correct point of contact with the first rail. And in this case, we can see that the cue ball is placed exactly on the 3rd track line. This means that we need to hit the cue ball on number 3 on the short rail. And what is really important, if the cue ball will be on each track line, then we need to hit exactly on the same number on the short rail. But again, really important is speed and spin, because we should apply same amount of both factors like in previous methods. So it doesn't matter how far the cue ball is from the rail. If it lies on one of the lines, then we can hit exactly on the point with the same number. But if we have a situation that the cue ball is not placed on any of these lines, then we need to compensate this aiming point somewhere between the two lines where the cue ball lies. Okay, but now let's move the object ball a bit higher. So now, as you can see, the object ball is placed on the first diamond on the log rail, but the cue ball is in the same place like before. This means that our new point 0 is in place where is object ball at this moment. And just like in previous situation, we need to connect each points of both rails to indicate our new track lines. And now we can see that the cue ball is not placed on the third track line, but really close to the track line number 2. So we need to hit the cue ball on number 2 on the short rail to make a contact with the object ball. The only exception is when we place the cue ball on the first track line, because then we should hit it on number 1 on the short rail. But as you can see, we can't do this because we have the corner pocket in this place. So in this case, we should hit the short rail a bit earlier and try to apply more side spin to the cue ball to change its trajectory, because if we apply same spin like before, then we will not be able to make a contact with the object ball. And of course we can change again our scenario when we move the object ball far away from the corner pocket along the short rail. And in this situation, counting diamond is a bit different than before. We need to start our calculations from the object ball, and there is point 0. And after that, we are going along the short rail, and a very half of diamond refer to the full number. And after these steps, what is really important when you come around the corner pocket, then a very diamond of length equals one full number. And if we repeat this action for each next full diamond, then we can see that the cue ball is placed in midpoint between track lines number 4 and 5. So we should hit the cue ball on midpoint between numbers 4 and 5 on the short rail to make a contact with the object ball. When we summarize all kicking systems which I showed you in this video, then we can see that the most important and critical factors is speed of the shot and type of spin which we are applying to the cue ball. When executing one-rail kick shots, we can't use side spin on the cue ball, while during two-rail kick shots, side spin is essential. But the most important is precise visualization of points and lines on the table. Each small mistake and we will not be able to make a contact with the object ball. But with practice and dedication, you will soon see a remarkable improvement in your game and you will be able to play kick shots like Efren Reyes. If you found this lesson helpful, then please leave a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button to be updated with videos like this. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to check another 2 videos from my channel which I want to recommend for you at this moment. Take care and see you in the next lesson.